Kim Bok-don sits opposite the Japanese embassy in Seoul, as she does every Wednesday. Sub-zero temperatures do not keep this 87-year-old away from the protest, calling for Japanese recognition that she and thousands of other Korean women were used as sex slaves for the military before and during World War II. Kim says, "For 20 years we have not heard from Japan. We want an apology and repentance." For the 1000th protest last December, the so-called Comfort Women unveiled a statue of a Korean girl watching the embassy, a constant reminder of their cause. The embassy keeps its blinds shut during the protests. Individual prime ministers have personally apologized over the years, but the NGO supporting the Comfort Women says more is needed. The director says, "This is a crime that was institutionalized by a country. They forced women into sexual slavery over a long period of time. They need to adopt a resolution at the official level, and we need to see legal reparations." Up to 200,000 women, mostly Korean, are believed to have been used as comfort women before and during World War II, when Korea was a colony of Japan. Many have since passed away. Tokyo maintains its legal liability for the wrongdoing was cleared by a bilateral claims treaty signed in 1965 between the two countries. Kim disagrees. Currently living in a shelter provided by the NGO, she says she was transported to half a dozen countries over 8 years by the Japanese military from the age of 14. She tells me, every Sunday, soldiers came to the brothel from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. On Saturday, from noon until 5, plus weekdays. I couldn't stand at the end of the weekend. I was physically broken. She says the Japanese military destroyed her life and took away her womanhood. She wants an apology before she dies. Comfort Women met with Korean Foreign Minister Kim Sung-hwan recently, criticizing the government for not doing more to help them. A South Korean court ruled in August that it was unconstitutional for the South Korean government not to make diplomatic efforts to try and resolve the matter. President Lee Myung-bak has since raised the issue with the Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihiko Noda, but as yet there is no resolution on this issue, which has long haunted relations between the two neighbours. Paula Hancock's CNN Seoul.
We were all virgins and we bled severely. We kept yelling, "You can't do this."
Kim Sun-duk was 17 years old in 1937 when Japan allied itself with Nazi Germany in World War II. As part of the Japanese Empire, Koreans were called to duty. Some young women were told they were needed to work in factories. Others were taken by force.
I was packed in a boat with about 50 women. We cried and yelled, "Take us back." But military trucks came and took us to a Chinese village.
They were forced to work in comfort stations, places where Japanese soldiers went by the thousands to have sex. Though the Japanese government has expressed remorse, it has not admitted legal responsibility for the rapes, despite military documents and testimony from former soldiers that indicate the government was involved.
The captain of the garrison passed out entrance tickets. Along with the tickets, we were given condoms. It was like taking off your boots. Drop your pants and just do it.
The Japanese government was systematically involved.
Chung-hee Saraso is a San Francisco State University professor working on a book about comfort women.
After the rape of Nanking, the Japanese military killed a lot of civilians and also raped a lot of women. And so the Japanese government didn't like the random sexual violence that their soldiers were committing. So they thought one way to control them is to provide these, controlled places where they could have, sexual service.
An estimated 200,000 women, mostly Korean, were forced to have sex with 50 or more soldiers a day. Some women died of disease or abuse. Some women killed themselves.
I tried to commit suicide. I hung myself twice, but it wasn't even easy to die. People around me saw me and untied me.
Kim Sun-duk endured daily rapes for 3 years before she was able to escape. But she returned home a damaged woman, physically, emotionally, and socially. She moved away from her family and told no one of her years of torture. Kim Sun-duk kept her secret for more than 50 years, until 1992, when a movement started to try to force Japan to make a formal apology and to pay restitution to former comfort women and their families. Kim Sun-duk attends rallies and speaks to the media, but to this day she is still too ashamed to talk to her own family about her past. Unable to read or write, her most personal outlet is her art. Kim Sun-duk's paintings chronicle her painful journey into military sexual slavery, a story untold in many textbooks in Asia, but one that she believes should not be ignored.
Just the grandmothers alone cannot achieve justice. We need everybody's help to prevent another war like this from ever happening again.
A war that former comfort women are still fighting. Daria Folsom, News Center 4.